The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over our small apartment as I sat across from her at the kitchen table. We were young and in love, dreaming of our future together. But beneath the surface, there was an unease that I couldn't shake. "I have to go back, Ethan," she said softly, her eyes downcast. My heart sank as her words hung in the air. "Back? To Florida?" I asked, my voice cracking with disbelief. She nodded, her fingers tracing patterns on the worn tabletop. "There's a custody battle with my ex over my son. I have to be there." I felt a surge of panic rising within me. We had built a life together here, in this small town. Leaving it all behind felt like a betrayal of everything we had worked for. "What about us?" I whispered, unable to mask the hurt in my voice. Tears welled in her eyes as she reached for my hand. "I love you, Ethan, but I have to do this for my son." I wanted to scream, to beg her to stay. But deep down, I knew that she had made up her mind. And so, with a heavy heart, I made the decision to support her, no matter the cost. As she packed her bags, I watched silently, the weight of her absence already pressing down on me. Little did I know, this would be the first of many separations that would tear us apart. Months turned into years, and our once passionate love affair became a battleground of separations and reconciliations. Each time she left, it felt like a dagger through my heart. Yet I couldn't bear the thought of life without her. After her return from Florida, we attempted to rebuild what we had lost. But the wounds of her departure ran deep, festering beneath the surface of our fragile relationship. "I promise, Ethan. This time will be different," she pleaded, her eyes brimming with tears. I wanted to believe her, to trust that she had finally realized the gravity of her actions. But doubt lingered in the back of my mind, poisoning any hope of a happy future together. As months passed, the cracks in our marriage widened, exposing the raw pain of her betrayal. Yet despite it all, I clung to the faint glimmer of hope that she would change, that our love would prevail. But time and time again, my hopes were shattered as she succumbed to the allure of her ex-partner or fell into the arms of another man. Each betrayal cut deeper than the last, leaving me questioning the very foundation of our love. "I can't do this anymore," I confessed, my voice barely above a whisper. Tears streamed down her face as she reached for my hand, desperation etched into her features. "Please, Ethan, give me one more chance. I'll do anything to make it right." But deep down, I knew that our love had reached its breaking point. No amount of promises or apologies could mend the shattered pieces of our fractured relationship. And so, with a heavy heart, I made the agonizing decision to let her go, to free myself from the cycle of pain and betrayal that had consumed us both. Little did I know, this would be the first step on a journey toward redemption and self-discovery. The decision to walk away from our tumultuous relationship was not one I made lightly. It weighed heavily on my heart, but I knew that I couldn't continue living in a cycle of pain and betrayal. As I packed my bags and prepared to leave everything behind, a sense of liberation washed over me. For the first time in years, I felt a glimmer of hope for the future, untainted by the ghosts of our past. "I'm sorry, Ethan. I didn't mean for it to end like this," she sobbed, her voice choked with emotion. I looked into her tear-filled eyes, feeling a pang of guilt for the pain I was causing her. But deep down, I knew that this was the only way forward, for both of us. "It's not your fault, Sarah. We've both made mistakes," I replied, my voice tinged with sadness. As I walked out the door, leaving behind the home we had built together, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. It was a bittersweet moment, filled with equal parts sorrow and relief. But just when I thought I could finally move on, she escalated the situation in a way I never saw coming. Falsely accusing me of misconduct, she obtained a restraining order that restricted my access to our children. The betrayal cut deeper than any before it, leaving me reeling with a sense of injustice. How could she do this to me, after everything we had been through? Fueled by anger and desperation, I sought legal assistance to fight for my rights as a father. It was a grueling battle, but I refused to let her strip me of my role in our children's lives. As I navigated the murky waters of the legal system, I couldn't help but reflect on the past. Our marriage had been built on shaky ground, destined to crumble under the weight of her infidelity. But amidst the chaos and heartache, I found solace in the knowledge that I was taking the first steps toward reclaiming my life. Little did I know, this would be the beginning of a journey toward redemption and self-discovery. The days blurred into weeks as I fought tirelessly to regain access to my children. Each legal hurdle felt like a mountain to climb, but I refused to let despair consume me. "I can't believe she would do this," I muttered to my lawyer, frustration evident in my voice. He nodded sympathetically, flipping through the pages of legal documents spread out before us. "Unfortunately, it's not uncommon in these cases. Emotions run high, and sometimes people resort to extreme measures. Extreme measures indeed. Falsely accusing me of misconduct and obtaining a restraining order was a low blow, even for her. But I was determined not to let her manipulation dictate the course of my life. Days turned into weeks, and still, I found myself locked in a bitter legal battle with my estranged wife. Her accusations weighed heavily on me, threatening to overshadow any hope of a resolution. "I just want to see my children," I confessed to my lawyer, the desperation evident in my voice. He nodded sympathetically, his expression mirroring my anguish. "We're doing everything we can, Ethan. But these things take time. Time." It was a commodity I could ill afford, as each passing day without my children felt like an eternity. But I refused to give up hope, knowing that I was fighting for their future as much as my own. As I awaited the outcome of yet another legal hearing, I couldn't help but wonder how we had reached this point. Our marriage, once filled with love and promise, had devolved into a bitter feud with no end in sight. But amidst the chaos and uncertainty, a glimmer of hope flickered in the distance. With each legal victory, I moved one step closer to reclaiming my role as a father, no matter the obstacles in my path. And so, with determination in my heart and the support of my lawyer by my side, I braced myself for whatever challenges lay ahead. Little did I know, this would be the battle that would define not only my future, but also my strength and resilience in the face of adversity. As the legal battles raged on, I found myself consumed by a whirlwind of emotions. Anger, resentment, and despair threatened to overwhelm me at every turn. But amidst the chaos, a sense of clarity began to emerge. "I can't keep living like this," I confided to a trusted friend, the weight of my words hanging heavy in the air. He nodded solemnly, his expression filled with empathy. "It's time to let go, Ethan. You've done everything you can. It's not your fault." His words struck a chord deep within me, prompting me to confront the harsh reality of our situation. Our marriage, once filled with love and promise, had devolved into a bitter feud with no winners in sight. But as I reflected on the past, I realized that I couldn't let her betrayal define me. I was more than the sum of my past mistakes, and I refused to let her actions dictate the course of my life. With newfound determination, I focused my energy on rebuilding what she had torn apart. I threw myself into my work, pouring every ounce of my being into my career and personal growth. And slowly but surely, the pieces of my shattered life began to fall back into place. I found solace in the love and support of friends and family, who stood by me through the darkest of times. But perhaps the most profound revelation came in the form of forgiveness. As I let go of the anger and resentment that had consumed me for so long, I found a sense of peace that I hadn't felt in years. "I forgive you," I whispered into the void, the words echoing in the silence of my empty apartment. And with that simple act of forgiveness, I reclaimed my power and took control of my destiny. No longer bound by the chains of the past, I embraced the future with open arms, ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. As I gazed out at the world with newfound clarity, I knew that I had emerged from the darkness stronger and wiser than ever before. And though the scars of our tumultuous relationship would always linger, I was ready to face whatever the future may hold, knowing that I had finally found redemption in letting go of the past. Thank you for listening to the story to the end. And if you like it, please support us with a like as well as subscribe to our channel. Write in the comments what you